Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I have to be closer. My name is Space Voyager. I'm so happy to be here at BronyCon. Welcome to the Multimedia Art Panel. Hi.
How's it going, BronyCon?
I hope everyone's having fun here this weekend, and we're just going to start out by introducing ourselves and what we do. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with my deviant art, but it is Space Voyager, and I make different pony plushes. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
that's it.
Hi, I'm Dusty Sculptures. I'm on DeviantArt and Tumblr. You can kind of see one up here, but whatever. It's Spitfire. Yeah, I make sculptures out of polymer clay, and yeah, that's about it.
I'm Spike. Is this one on? There's a oh, that's what. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot better.
Didn't even know this was on. Okay. I'm Spike Farmain. I do relief wood carvings. I don't have anything with me because I handed everything out already. So, but you go to the charity auction tomorrow. I have 3 of them in there. So.
I'm Chaotic Brony. I design the jewelry, like this alicorn amulet that will be available at the charity auction tomorrow.
Hell yeah. How you guys doing? Yeah? How's BronyCon treating you? Yeah? See anything interesting? No? Yeah? Go to Bronypalooza last night? Yeah? How was it? It was? Whole ground was shaking, huh? Was it because Michelle Crabber was singing her lungs out? And everyone's jumping up and down, yeah. So, how about we start? You want to start and just...
You want to start with just how we got started with artwork?
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to start with how each of us got started with artwork, starting with Space Voyager.
Oh, okay, cool. Actually, I didn't start with pony plushes. I decided I needed a new hobby, and I was looking into sewing. I have a background in production theater, so I did a lot of costuming through college. And I didn't really start sewing until after I graduated, and I just decided that I wanted to try something new. So I looked up online, just different techniques and stuff, and then I decided I'd try to make plushes. I've always collected stuffed animals, and I've always loved them. So I thought it would be fun to try to make them for myself instead of going out to the store and buying something everyone probably already has. It would be neat to customize something, just one of a kind. So I started out with making Transformer plushes, which I don't really suggest that as the first plushes that you make. They're pretty difficult. And then I branched out to Pokemon and discovered My Little Pony in 2010. And that's basically how I got started. I thought they were adorable. I actually started making the plushes before I watched the show. I saw them just like in memes and stuff, and they're just so cute, so I had to make one. My first plush was Fluttershy, so I decided to make her, and then I wanted to branch out to different characters, so I watched the show, and that's basically how I just got started. I just needed a new hobby. It's been fun. It's enjoyable. I love it. I do have some tutorials on my DeviantArt if anyone is interested in just learning to sew for yourself. I'm always willing to help someone. So, you can just visit me on DeviantArt if you're interested, and I'll help you out. Oh, yay!
Yeah, nice.
Awesome.
That guy just did. So,
Yay.
oh, hello. So I have a quick question. You said you were in production in college.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually take any classes or anything to prep you for doing plushies or anything?
Yes, I did have costuming. I had costuming, special effects, makeup. I was
That's
in
a lot of sewing.
Yeah.
In that.
I was in lighting, wood shop, stage painting, scene painting too. So just a lot of different hands-on arts and crafts things. Really hard work, and I think costuming helped prep me the most because I've never used a sewing machine in my life before that. And
Same here.
It's pretty awesome. It's I like to think I'm a quick learner too.
Awesome.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm next. So I'm Dusty Sculptures. Yeah, where do I even begin? I don't know, should I? Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it started out in college, just like Space Voyager here. I was actually a biochemistry major, set to go to med school, and I was having the time of my life until I started watching old episodes of Animaniacs and started drawing. And one of my friends looked over my shoulder and said, "Hey, that's pretty good." And I said, "Really? No, it can't be right." And he said, you should take an art class." And I took a drawing class. I was terrible at it, but I kept at it anyway. And in fact, I took as many art classes as I could in college, such that I actually managed to get an art minor done. So that was fun. And after I was finished, I said, well, I don't know finished with college at least. I said, I don't really know what's going on, what I'm to do. And one of my friends introduced me to this little show about these little colorful horses. Particularly, he showed me on YouTube one episode where there's this buttermilk Pegasus flies down onto the nose of a red dragon and screams her brains out and subdues the dragon to tears. I laughed my head off. Granted, there was a little bit of liquid friendship involved, but however you get into it is your business. That's how I got into it, and I started by sculpting him a little toy pony, and I put it on DeviantArt, said, hey, other people came up to me and said, hey, this is really good. And I said, really? Yeah, do you do commissions? I guess I do now. And that's how I got started.
Well, I got started actually. I've been wood carving for it's going to be 7 years, but I got involved with woodworking June 4th, 1988. I just turned 30 on June 4th of this year. So on my 5th birthday, my father taught me how to build things with wood with my 2 hands. So basically about 19 years into doing this, I needed to extend what I can do with woodworking. So my father 12 years ago, got involved in wood carving. And I looked at what he was doing, and I said, I can do that. So I got involved with that, learned how to relief carve like floral designs to put towards molding and things like that. And then, I learned, they told me that, you can put characters to this as well. So I did like Alvin and the Chipmunks, a couple of card arts for Magic the Gathering. And the thing was they were not too pleased about that, the group I belonged to. They wanted me to do more traditional work. So they gave me 2 options, go with traditional or quit. And I said, fine, you don't appreciate my work, I will quit. But I'll continue doing the building part of it. That was on May 9th. The next day I was handing my dad the tools because I have no use for it then if I don't need them. So my dad didn't have any room to store it. He said, just hold on to it for me until I find a spot. May 11th, I was on the Facebook app, Spotify, and I heard this song. It's called A Song About California. Ever heard of it? Hey Ocean, yeah. And I also have the Bands in Town app, and I saw that Hey Ocean was playing in New York City on May 21st. And, I looked up the band's information. I liked what I heard from one song, so went to go see their concert. And I looked up the band, and Ashley Ball had a link on her name. So I clicked the link, went to Internet Movie Database, so that she was a voice actress. And I have a lot of respect for them, because what they do is not easy. And I said, you know what, for my final hurrah, I'm going to carve one of her characters. And I've never carved a humanoid before, so I was going to go with Plum Pudding. As the picture was printing out, I'm like, why is a group from Vancouver coming to New York? So I went back and I clicked on My Little Pony. And under the trivia, if you look on it, it states about bronies. We're on IMDb. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a stab in the dark, and that's the reason why they're coming. So I saw that she was Applejack and Rainbow Dash, and it listed Buffalo number 3, something like that. So I said, you know what, I'll just go alphabetically, and I'll just carve her Applejack, and search for images on Applejack, and it brought me to MLP Wikia. And it gave a little brief description. It said that she was one of 6 main characters, including Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Twilight Sparkle, Rarity, and Rainbow Dash. And I'm like, wait a minute, why does that name sound familiar? And went back and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, she voices 2 main characters. So I carved Rainbow Dash and Applejack for her. Met the Bronies of New York City there. Was invited to their meetup. I did a demonstration carving there of Big Macintosh, but I also brought Vinyl Scratch and Derpy, which was actually last year's 2 pieces I submitted for their charity auction. That was supposed to be a raffle to help St. Jude's in New York. So I was approached and told, oh, you know, we're having our convention, which was BronyCon, next month. Why don't you give the voice actor for Big Macintosh is going to be there, Peter New. Why don't you go and give it to him? I'm like, I don't know. A couple days, I'm like, what am I going to do with this thing? So I decided to sign up to go to BronyCon last year, and I saw the list of who was going to be there. Tara and Nicole and John Delancey and those who were there last year. I'm like, if I'm giving one person something, I don't want to be a jerk. I'm going to carve it, their characters for them. So everybody got something. Then I met the people of Everfree, handed it out, found out about Tabitha St. Germain being there, and Maddie, Michelle, and Claire as well. So, and then it just kind of had that snowball effect. It just kept going from there. But recently I had found out, while working on a piece for Everfree Northwest, Philomena I did for them, I started getting major hand pains. I mean, major. I went to my doctor, he did some tests, and I found out I have severe arthritis, okay? After this convention, I had to take a 2-year hiatus to go for injections, okay? So, I made that announcement there, and I'm making it here. What you'll see at the auction is it, for at least 2 years. So, it's something, people keep asking me, why don't you open for commissions? The reason why, I want to help others first. I've always put other people, specifically children first. That's why if you notice, every convention I've been to, there's always at least 1 or 2 pieces. This convention's got 3 for my last hurrah. There's a Lyra Heartstrings, a Pee-wee, which has the Phoenix itself and the background is carved in, and the shopkeeper from Magic Duel. So,
Thanks a lot, man, for your contribution.
that's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't know how you follow that up.
Oops.
I honestly don't even know where to begin. What was next on the list?
How'd you get in?
Okay, I'll just be brief. I've been doing jewelry for 15 years. My father taught me the basics. I taught myself the rest. I became a fan about 1.5 years ago. 6 months into the fandom, I decided I wanted to do something for the fandom, so I figured I'd just take what I do with the jewelry and ponify it. Pretty much all there is to it. So, yeah. I honestly don't know how to go any further than that.
Well, I actually like this. I'm wondering how long it takes you to make this Alicorn amulet, because that is gorgeous.
About 10 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone who is sitting in the back, if you could find a seat, please. There will be a raffle at the, or a random number generation for what seat you are sitting in. So find a seat if you would like to be part of the raffle. All right. All right. So what questions have you guys asked? What questions have you guys asked?
No.
Do you guys have any questions for them right now? Yes.
I put everything on basswood plaques, and they range in sizes. The largest I've ever carved was a 16 by 20. Anybody know who Kiki Havivi is? Everfree Northwest last year, I asked Tara Strong if somebody could ponify her, and I would carve it for her and ship it to her. and that was the largest size carving I've ever done. The plaques range anywhere from 11 by 14, which is the medium size, to as small as I would say probably 8 by 8. And I mean, the process that I go through is finding a picture that I like, taking that picture, transferring it to the piece of wood, and my parents don't see me for at least 3 days. People have been asking me, you know, what kind of power tools do I use, and I get offended. Everything I do is by hand. Every little detail, every little line that you see that is ingrained into the wood is by hand. And that's what caused my arthritis. But it was a labor of love, and I'll tell you one thing, if you're on Twitter, you know, I'm on @SpikeFarming. Once I get the green light to go, you will know, and you follow me, you will know I'm back.
So how many man-hours would you say you put into each piece?
Well, I start carving at 7 a.m. and I don't stop until 4 a.m. with like minimal breaks. I don't even eat. So I literally just take like a couple of bathroom breaks, but that's about it. And that's 3 days in a row, just to do one piece. Except for, like I said, the shopkeeper, which was about a week, and Pee-wee was about 5 days. And I've gotten it down to at least a day and a half to 2 days. And that I brought to this convention 21 carvings. And I literally started them right after Everfree Northwest. I had to do 5 for the military bronies. They're using them as award plaques. I literally banged them out in a day and a half. I did one as a test, and I literally did 4 of them simultaneously.
Heather, Heather, how long does it take you to do some of your plushies?
They vary depending on complexity and size. The larger ones like Pinky and Rainbow Dash usually take me around 25 to 30 hours per plush. The smaller ones usually 12 to 15 hours.
And how about you, Dusty?
See, now I feel like a wimp, because like something like this will take me like around maybe 14, 16 hours to do of just actual sculpting. If you include like photography or like pre-production stuff, it'll probably take like another 1 or 2 hours depending on each. But I mean, it's nowhere near as much as these guys.
Do you have a piece that has been most difficult for you to produce?
Anything that pretty much crowns and tiaras. My equipment's designed for things the size of a belt buckle or smaller, so they've proven to be very challenging to make.
What was your hardest?
What was my most challenging one?
Yeah.
Between carving and painting, I think carving-wise, it was definitely the shopkeeper. And painting-wise, Luna. Because I had to paint every little star in her tail and her mane. And I actually put a little hidden message for Tabitha St. Germain, which says, "Thank you for Derpy."
Oh boy.
Aw.
Yeah.
And how about you, Dusty?
Oh, it would have to be one of my favorites. It was the Study Time Twilight. That's the one with the Twilight. She's sitting on a pile of books on the floor with the elements of harmony next to her. I absolutely love just doing the hardwood floor of that because I actually don't paint any of my sculptures. I use colored clay. So I had to like mix the colored clay such that it would actually look like real wood. It was kind of fun to do. What about you?
I think the most difficult plushes I've made, definitely Owie Zodal and Chrysalis. You can see both of those in my DeviantArt. I don't have them here today, but Owie Zodal took me just with patterning and prototyping, took me around 80 hours to make. And Chrysalis I didn't really time myself with Chrysalis, but she took me around 2 weeks to make.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? Yes.
Hi, my name is Cowboy Dave, and I'm with Everfree Network. And so I appreciate all of the work you guys do.
Thank you.
But
Thanks.
Spike Fireman in particular, wanted to thank you and crash your panel a little bit for what you did for ours.
Darn.
On behalf of Everfree Network, though, I'd like to thank you, and for me personally, thank you for the carving you did for us.
And I meant everything I said at your panel, that I am a dedicated EFN watcher.
We really appreciate it. Thank you again.
You know, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, so I just want to ask you something. You just said that. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, if you guys have any
Yeah,
questions,
microphone.
yeah. If you guys have any questions, raise your hand. We got a guy with a microphone walking around.
Now, you
That
just
guy's
said
awesome.
that you get offended when someone says it asks if you use power tools. I'm just wondering, are you like against using power tools, or you just don't like to use them at all for your carvings?
Well, what it is that the difference for me in wood carving, the difference between power tools and hand tools, you can literally make 12 carvings in about a day. But where is the passion? Where is the love? Where is the soul of the person that is making it? It's not in it. Every stroke of my knives and my gouges is a piece of me going into my piece. You lose that when you have a machine doing it, helping you do it. Because what is there to do with a Dremel? That's it. You lose what the carver is doing when you're using power tools. Every gouge stroke, every knife cut is a part of the passion that they have for it, the love that they have for it. All right? That's why I do everything by hand, because you know that I put my heart and my soul into this. Each one. All right?
Amen to that.
And this panel is about multimedia art, because most people in the fandom, you all know the Will Draw for Food, the UC77s, and of course, John Joseko. But this panel is to also help all the people who don't always use the pen and paper or the tablet, people that go and maybe get their hands a little dirty to try to bring out their art and express their emotions. So are there any other forms of art that you also practice on occasion? Okay.
I'm actually learning how to become a voice actor.
I wish I could.
I'm right now working with the fan build team on with fan build and Lee Tokar, and we call him our General Lee. So
So wait, is he your mentor?
I look up to him a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
And I've been when you get a group of voice actors on a Skype call, and we just go around and we're just like, oh, by the way, who likes Aladdin, the Disney Aladdin?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. You could be the chump husband. Then we take Papa-in-law and the little woman and throw him off a cliff. Yeah! Curse brat!
All right. How about you, Dusty?
Oh, I don't know, man. I guess I do a couple of little ink drawings on the side, some digital art sometimes. Yeah, I really don't have time at the moment, but I have been reading a lot about animation books, like Richard Williams' Survival Guide to Animation and Preston Blair, for any of those animators out there. And I would actually really like to do some kind of animation of some sort. How about you, Space Warrior?
I don't really practice any other art forms. Occasionally, I'll sketch just what I want, like the plushes to look like. So other than sketching, plush making is pretty much all I do.
Yeah, I'm terrible at sketching. I don't know.
I'm not so great at it either.
I know, like professional like sculptors, they usually sketch their thing beforehand. I have such problems sketching. I just like say, screw it, just go right to the clay.
Well, I like coloring, but then again, you can purchase any coloring book for $1 at Walmart. So
Yeah.
stay
All right.
within the lines.
Chaotic has to leave, so we'll give him one quick final question. What was your first piece of art? What
Yeah.
was the first thing you did, pony-wise? Yeah.
Rainbow Dash Cutie Mark Pendant. It's actually in my gallery. I believe that's the first one I made.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you very
coming.
much, man.
And what was your first piece of pony art?
Pony art? Well, I can't remember. Excuse me. I can't remember if it was Rainbow Dash or Applejack, but being that Ashley Bull got both of them at the same time, it's kind of hard to remember. I think it was Applejack because I went alphabetically.
Mine was a Twilight Sparkle figure that I gave to a friend who actually hated bronies as a joke. You won't find any pictures of it. You know what? There might be one. Oh crap! There might be one of it online. Don't look for it because it looks awful.
My first plush was Fluttershy. She was the first character I was introduced to, and I thought she was adorable. So she was also my first plush.
Awesome.
And not to self-insert, but the reason why I did kind of start this panel and get all these people together is because my father, who was also going to be on this panel and could not be here because he's busy back at home, but he does a lot of leather art, and so I'm kind of trying to follow in his footsteps. He did 15 years of leather artwork. He did a portrait of Rainbow Dash for a charity charity auction that went for like $250. It was like this big, and it was just Fluttershy or Rainbow Dash sleeping on a cloud, and so yeah, I'm trying to also get into my own, and this is the first thing that I ever did really of leather stuff, and I wear it almost every single day. It's very dirty, but it says it's also a Fluttershy thing, but it's kind of crudely made, but yeah.
So it says Fluttershy on it, right?
Yes, it
Yes.
says Fluttershy.
And it's got a
Awesome. It has a cutie mark. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome. I actually made this at a scout camp. My scoutmaster had brought a bunch of leather crafting stuff, and I was like, oh my god! And so almost everybody at camp was making these, and he had all the letters, and he happened to have a butterfly mark. So I was just like, oh, I know what I'm doing. But yeah, so I'm currently trying to follow in my father's footsteps and doing some leather artwork. Hopefully, can get some of that up soon.
That's very cool. Very cool.
I just actually want to throw one thing out though. People I've been asked by a couple of people, you know, with my carvings, how is it that it always comes out to be like, it keeps getting better and better? The question I'm going to pose to you guys, do you know what the opposite of success is? What? If you guys are saying failure, that's not the right answer. The actual answer is quit. Okay? See, failure is what I consider the road bumps to getting better. Because your first piece might not be the best piece. Obviously, it's not going to be the best piece. But you know what it is? It's your first piece. It's your learning piece. So you know what? You take from what you learned from the first one, learn from your mistakes to get better. And you keep improving yourself. If you quit, how are you going to learn? So keep in mind that the opposite of success, when you have that piece that you were very proud of, think about how many bad pieces you made prior to, okay? If you quit, you'll never know. Remember, I'm taking a hiatus. I ain't quitting. And I'm telling you one thing, I will be back. And I hate to quote this because it's a Daft Punk song, but harder, better, faster, stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So, if anybody's going to be at the fan-built panel tomorrow, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, and I do not want this getting to Lee because I want to surprise him. I built for him a keepsake box with the fan-built logo on it. I had ordered a 18 karat gold leaf, which is $600 a sheet. And when I got it and I applied it, I'm like, this luster doesn't seem right. I went to a pawn shop to just get the gold appraised. It's 24 karat gold, which is $2,500 a sheet. So when I come back, I'm gonna find an artist that can do for me silhouettes of Earth, Pegasi, and Unicorn silhouette in a kind of like the Triforce pattern. I got enough sheets to actually, instead of painting it, I'm going to basically gold leaf the out of it. So, and the thing is, it has to start at $2,000 because if you do the math on gold, so.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I have one. Since you had talked about failures, would you mind telling us some of your most spectacular learning attempts, and what did you do with them when you were done with them?
That was to you, dude.
Wait,
We'll start. Was that you?
wait, who is that for?
Who was
Is
this
it just
for?
for all of us? Yeah, all right.
Oh,
So,
start with you then.
you go first.
All right. I guess it was just last year. I started a commission for someone who wanted it for their girlfriend's birthday. Yeah, I know, commissions, right? And he wanted both his OC and her OC kind of just like, having, just being with each other, just kind of embracing each other. And I'd started it. I started it in October. And I started working on it that month. And I live in Jersey. So at the end of October, a little thing called Hurricane Sandy happened. And it fell over and broke. Yeah.
Apparently, Sandy affects a lot of people in different ways, right?
And the thing is that his girlfriend's birthday was coming up, and he's like, I really need this. And I'm like, I'll try my best. And I managed to piece it together and ship it off. I don't know what happened to it after that. It looked okay. I hope.
Well, for me, I started a Princess Luna plush a while back. I've actually been working on her for probably a good 6 months, and each of my attempts haven't been coming out, the way I want them to. So I consider that kind of more of a failure on my part. But I've been editing my pattern over and over and over again, finding new ways to do things, and hopefully she'll be finished pretty soon.
Could you please repeat the question? Because so I have a clear understanding what you were asking.
What was your most spectacular, we'll call them learning attempts because there are no failures, right? And what did you do with them afterwards?
Okay, well, who here remembers when Andrew Francis had claimed that he was Brayburn? No one? No. Well, for a while, Andrew Francis thought he was Brayburn, so I gave him a carving of Brayburn. And then we found out that Michael Dangerfield is. And so Andrew was going to give it to him at BronyCon, because I couldn't make it there. And with everything that happened on Sunday, he had to throw it into his bag, and he was going to give it to him at another time. And the airport damaged it completely, because he didn't have it protected. And he gave it back to me at BronyCon so I can fix it, or at least attempt to fix it. And, I got home. That was the first thing I had to do, was try to repair the damages that was done to it. And one of the first signs that I should have seen was my hand went numb, and I dropped the plaque, and it snapped in half. So my brother has a fire pit. So that was our wood. Anytime a piece breaks, it's firewood. Or if something didn't seem to transfer right on the plaque, and I didn't catch that until after I look at the picture as I'm painting it, I'm like, Like, obviously, you can't put back what you cut away. So what do? Do you try, do a twist to it and try to sell it? No. I make everything one of a kind, so what I do? Snap it and burn it. So that way there is no duplicates. People have been asking me for commissions for Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, well, the main six, let's put it that way. I said, well, no, because Ashley Bullock's got Rainbow Dash and Applejack, or Andrea Lindman's got Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, Tara's got Twilight, and Tabitha's got Rarity and Luna. And, Nicole's got, the ones that I've been asked for the most was Luna, Rarity, well, Luna, the main six, Spike, and Celestia, and Cadence. So all the VAs for those characters own them, and they're the only ones that will. If you have, so they're like, well, what about OCs? I'm like, depending on the difficulty. Because I've seen OCs that I'm like, okay, it could be a challenge. And I'm like, 4 hours later, I'm like, oh, challenge accepted. But it's literally learning, and you might, with woodworking, you have to learn, doing it as long as I have, grain patterns vary, okay? You might have a plaque that the wood grain is going this way. It might go, but on the next plaque, if you hold it in the same direction, it might go this way, or it might go this way. Or the grains might be going this way, but the grain is actually going on a diagonal in. And learning by trial and error is the best way to do it. But there's some things that you can't predict on the surface, which is knots. I had to ship all my tools are from Germany. I broke my detail knife on a knot. It snapped the blade. I had to send it out to get repaired. The knife was $75 when I bought it. It cost me $150 to get it repaired. Well, the thing was that it was my favorite knife. And they don't make the detail knife that I have, they don't make anymore. It was a discontinued knife. And people are like, yeah, I'm starting to learn wood carving. Oh, really? How much did you spend on your knives? Oh, $5 over at Michael's or AC Moore. I said, could you do me a favor and throw those out and actually go to this website or this website and actually put money to it? Because those that you see at Michael's are garbage. They never hold an edge. Plaques are, the wood itself is fine. You gotta learn to look at the wood and notice where the knots are, and if you see any of these little, if you go into Michael's or any of the craft stores and you'll see these little holes in them, don't buy them, because they are actually grubs. They nest in wood. And you don't want to get a piece of wood that has eggs in them. A friend of mine who is also a wood carver bought one, and his house was infested with termites. So learn, you gotta look at the plaque, you gotta look at the pieces and make sure you don't get anything with holes, knots, or anything like that, because knots are gonna break your tool, are gonna damage your tools, and those holes might be nests, and you don't wanna have bugs in your house.
Yeah, if I ever snapped and burned any of my sculptures, I'd die from the nauseous fumes.
Well, does it have a dry time on the material?
It does, but I use polymer clay, which has a plastic substance in it.
Mm-hmm. No. What I'm saying is, how long is the set time?
The set time is usually 15 minutes or so. Yeah. And I bake these sculptures like multiple times.
Well, the reason why I was asking, if it has a set time and you can adjust accordingly,
Yeah.
at least you can go, oh, what,
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can, like I said, you can always add on.
Yeah, exactly. I can always add on to those things.
Whereas I can't.
Yeah, kind of going back a little bit to that failure thing. Last week I was at Midwest Brony Fest, and we had a couple of artist workshops, and one of the most common things I heard when people were talking about learning how to draw and do whatever, is that artists are almost or shouldn't ever be 100% satisfied with your work. A lot of times, especially the artists are their own biggest critics. They can almost always see, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong. But everybody else might be like, that's amazing, that's awesome. But the artist will, of course, be like, oh, this sucks.
It's very true.
That's 100% true.
In the words of Peter New, nope.
I'm actually curious, Zeta, what do you plan on working on next? What's your next big project?
I met a friend at Midwest Brony Fest. Her name is RCR, Rar Charlie Rar, and Brayburn, and they both. One of the things that I'm really good at is I can take like a picture or something and just carve it into leather, and that's one thing that I do. And so they've talked about getting together with me and drawing me some custom sketches, and then put that into leather, and then put that alongside their own art and at some tables or something at conventions.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Hello.
What is your favorite plush to make, and do you prefer full-size bears or fillies?
Oh, that's such a good question. Well, fillies definitely are easier to make than the full size just because they're smaller, and I don't have to do separate pieces with the fillies. I would probably have to say Scootaloo, though. I've made at least 10 or 12 Scootaloos. For the mares, I really enjoy making Applejack just because she's best pony.
Can I actually, can I hold Scootaloo?
Yes.
Yay.
Aw.
But by the way, in case you guys didn't know, I'm sorry to point you out, but that the lady who just asked the question is White Doves. She also does plushies like Space Voyager.
Come up here.
Also,
Yes.
Come on, stand up. White Dove, stand up, come on.
She does some of the most show accurate plushies in the fandom. All artists have their own style, but she definitely does some of the most show accurate plushes.
I also like to point out,
Aw.
Yes.
I also like to,
Different prices. So they usually range from $150 to $175, depending on which one you want. Should be $150.
I also like to point out that Blackout Comics is also in the audience there. He's also a famous sculptor. I love your work, man.
Does anybody else have any shout-outs? Anybody else? Who here does any sort of art
Yeah.
that you practice regularly? That's awesome.
Yeah.
You all are awesome. Art is a very good way to express yourself and your emotions, and there's all different kinds of art, including, I mean, even singing, of course, is a form of art and stuff like that. Go ahead.
I know you already described some of your process, but for the two of you, what is more of your breakdown process in simplifying how you're going to make what you're going to make?
The first thing I start out with is a quick sketch of what I want the plush to look like. Once I have the sketch done, I usually do that at different angles. I'll start with pattern making. I use a drafting pencil, drafting paper, different things like that. So I'll just start with the body first and then just draft the rest of the pattern. Then I make a prototype out of like fleece or suede cloth, since that's a lot cheaper than minky. And I'll look to see if I have any mistakes. If I've made mistakes, I'll edit my pattern again and just, repeat the process until I come up with something I'm happy with.
For me, pre-production is a really big step because, like I said before, I don't really paint my sculptures. So I have to mix every single individual color, and I have to make sure that everything is according to the right amounts. And so I spend a lot of time doing that, as well as mixing I use just like 6, 7 different types of clays in a given sculpture. And so I have to mix all of those together and measure it out. And then Usually I have to get a ton of fan art or vectors or whatever to make sure everything is proportionate and sized. And then once I get all of that stuff done, then I can start. And I do the usual, start with the armature, build out the form, add the bulk it out, add the main colors, and then just keep continually adding more and more on top of it. And usually between each step, I'll do a bake. And that's something sort of recent that I've learned that's actually really amazing when it comes down to using clay.
I actually totally forgot. I actually had a picture of the shopkeeper on my iPad.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and bring it around real quick so some of you guys in the back can see.
And then you can come up later when the panel's done, I guess, and see it.
Well, you just stop me in the hall and I'll show it to you. I have no problem.
We got one up here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
coming.
coming.
Give him a second.
Careful. We don't want feedback.
As he points himself right into the microphone, right into the speaker.
I thought you were like,
All right, here we go.
wait, well, your name was Space what?
Space Voyager.
Space Voyager. Yeah, you said after you have like a draft, and after you make the draft, you find something that's more comfortable. Like after that, when you start actually making the plushie, what do you do then?
After I drafted, that's when I start the prototyping phase. I'll just, sew it together, stuff it, and if I'm not happy with it, like I said before, just take it apart, do it again, edit my pattern. Is that what you're talking about? Like, kind of. Oh, when I get to the real plushie, yeah. I'll just usually, it takes me a few prototypes to get to where I want to be. Probably an average of 3 or 4. So. I don't do the embroidery on the prototypes. It's just completely blank, solid fabric. So, like if I was making a Rainbow Dash prototype, she'd just have plain white mane, white tail, no embroidery at all.
She just makes it sound really easy.
It's not.
Just to follow along on the process, I'm just curious about the tools of the trade. You mentioned embroidery, and I can tell that the eyes and the cutie marks, they appear to be embroidered. But what are the tools that everybody's actually using to get this done? No clue how you carve clay or that kind of thing.
That's a very good question. For me, you would look at a plush and you would think that there's actually not much that actually goes into these, but there is. I use an embroidery machine, which requires a special embroidery bobbin thread for that, and then the actual thread for the eyes. I also use quilt batting, interfacing. I use beanies to stuff their feet and the tails. I also I use jointed heads so their heads can move. They're not stationary, so she can look at you or be creepy.
She's watching you.
I'm
Yeah,
going
it's
to have
Pinkie Pie. I
nightmares
think that's
now.
expected. But yeah, there's actually quite a bit of materials that go into my plushes. Definitely the most expensive things I think are the interfacing and the beanies. Definitely embroidery thread. Embroidery thread alone is at least $7 to $10 for a spool.
For tools, you start with clay, an oven, and a knife. I can't tell you how many tools I have. But like there's a special tool basically for every little thing, and then you have the different types. I use different gauge. Gauge is the thickness of the wire, depending upon which piece I'm doing. So I'll do one for the tail, different one for the tail, different one for the wings, different one for the spine and stuff like that. It's kind of like a skeleton. So like the thickest will obviously be your spine cord, and then it kind of just delineates out from there. There's actually a picture on my DeviantArt page of the majority of the tools that I use day to day, and there's probably, I don't know, some like 40 or something odd items on that picture. So, yeah.
So what you're saying, there's a tool for that?
There's a tool for that.
Couldn't help it. I've seen a couple of people have been wearing those. There's a pony for that app shirt. I just had to throw that one in there. I'm sorry, but I use 3 different kinds of knives. One has a flat blade. The other one, the blade curves. I have a detail knife. I have 2 widths of palm gouges, and a device called a V-tool. And those are more for like hairlines, and if you look at, when you look at the carvings, if you look at like Applejack, when you look on the show how it's got the orange highlights in there, it basically digs that in, and it makes a V shape when it cuts it. So, I also use head magnifiers, especially on the small part. You know, when you have to go deep, when you're dealing with really tiny areas, I use those, like the jeweler magnifiers. So, and just like sanding sealer and polyacrylic finish I use.
Oh, I forgot to mention that I use Sculpey clay. Super Sculpey is a really awesome starting clay to start with. But because I use colored clay, I also mix it in with Sculpey 3 and Primo, which are different types of colored clay. They tend to be a little weaker and a little harder to use, so I usually recommend just Super Sculpey.
Actually, I have a question for you two. How did you guys get your nicknames?
That's a good one.
Seriously, how did you get your nicknames?
I love Star Trek. So Star Trek is amazing. The original series all the way. So I needed a pun for Star Trek, so I was like Space Voyager.
So those who knew me longer, I'm an avid gamer. And one of my absolute favorite games that I used to play when I was a kid, I probably shouldn't have, was Counter-Strike. And my absolute favorite map was a little thing called DE Dust that I would play all day long. And the gamers out there will know what that is. And so I just named myself Dusty because I play the map all day long.
Well, I got mine from a little game called Guild Wars. Spike Firemain is actually my ranger. And the funny thing is, it's actually composed of two names. The Firemain, the last name, Firemain, is based off of the Magic the Gathering card, Firemain Angel and Firemain Avenger, okay? And Spike, anybody seen an anime called Cowboy Bebop?
Hell yeah.
What I didn't know was Steve Bloom actually voiced characters in the game. He voiced Pyre Fearshot from Guild Wars Eye of the North. And the funny thing is, Maurice LaMarche is Vec, as in Brain from Pinky and the Brain. Maurice LaMarche, he's Vec. And he is also, Steve Bloom is also Ritlock Brimstone in Guild Wars 2, which I'm a fanatic about. That game actually has a legendary short bow called the Dreamer. It's an alicorn skin, and it shoots, instead of arrows, rainbow-maned unicorns with ArenaNet logo for a cutie mark. I'm like, I actually had a tweet to them, is the Dreamer a nod to bronies? They go, yeah. Thank you. You're welcome.
Those voice actors get around, don't they?
And the funny thing is that Steve Bloom actually, loves us because he's friends with Tara Strong. And he goes, somebody actually asked him, "What do you think of bronies?" He goes, "I love bronies." And that's amazing if you think about it. Somebody outside that has nothing to do with the show, has a lot of respect for what we do. So.
Actually, I actually want to get a picture, since this is my very first panel I've ever done, I actually want to get a picture of everyone. So I'm going to just take a picture. If you could all say, bronies. You want to do it too?
Yeah, I want to.
All right.
All right, let's just do the trifecta then.
Yes. All right.
Are you serious? I can just stand and do this.
Sure.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Unless you want to tell us what we're giving away.
We'll take a look. Let's do one more question.
Okay.
All right. Anybody got, we're going to take one more question because we have to wait for the raffle tickets to come back. That's where he went to get.
Make it a good one.
Make it a good one.
I'll try. So is there any piece of advice you could give, generally speaking, for any form of artwork that would really help people to either get started or stay motivated if they choose to go down that path?
Don't give up. Never give up on your work. It's difficult to start out with. My plushes look terrible when I first made them, and it's easy to be, really disheartened and unhappy when you make your first. I mean, whether it's a plush, a sculpt, or anything, but just keep practicing.
I still think mine look bad. So there's a saying out there that in order to be good, you have to make your first 1,000 mistakes. So start now, so you can get those out of the way and start getting better.
I think Lauren Faust actually stated that when she was asked that at EQLA. She said, everybody's got like thousands of crappy drawings and that really good one, so get that out of your system now. And
Exactly.
I love that quote from her. But there's one other thing. When you do a craft, don't just do it for the sake of doing it. You make sure when you do it because you love doing it. Don't try to, because people are like, I want to be a famous brony. I don't consider myself famous at all because I just do what I love to do. Find that in you and have that passion to do it. So, because some people are said I got inspired to do wood carvings because of you, and they're doing it because they got inspired. Some people I can do that, and they try doing it, and the quality you lose. All right, it looks like some of the pieces. I need some critiques. I looked at it and I'm like, well, it's a nice toothpick because they take off too much. I've seen people who try to carve relief because you're supposed to go about, let's say about a thumbnail width down into the wood, if not less. They make a hole in it. They actually go all the way through because they don't. Basically, they didn't learn from someone. They didn't ask for help. They tried doing it on their own. So if let's say you want to learn how to be a plush maker because that is something you want to do, because you have that passion, you want to learn how to be a plush maker or a sculptor. I'm pretty sure, I can't say for all this, but if somebody came up to you and asked, would you be willing to teach me? I'm willing to learn. Would you be willing to give him a guiding hand, I would say? Would you be willing to do that? Like I said, I can't speak for myself. If my hands weren't in this condition, I would be more than happy to. But like I said, my hands are in such bad condition, I can't even hold a knife right now. But who knows? Maybe when my doctor gives me the all clear, I might actually start opening lessons to actually showing, teaching people how to do it. But the thing you have to know is that wood carving, you have to be minimum of age of 18 to carve. Yes, because you're actually dealing with dangerous tools.
Sure.
All right, think about it. A pocket knife can still be considered a weapon. If my tools can cut wood, it can cut skin really easily. I've gotten stabbed so many times I've lost count. And the thing is, the pain doesn't bother me. Okay? When I carved Michelle Krieber's apple bloom for her, I cut myself. I forgot. I didn't even know I did it. All right? It's dangerous. That's the reason why you have to be a minimum age of 18 to do it. All right? We have some people that are younger in our group, but the thing is they have parental supervision at all times. And You know, the reason why I've cut myself is because I've been used to the pain so long. You're supposed to wear safety gear. You have to wear a Kevlar glove on the non-carving hand. So I'm a righty. Nice in this hand. This is my non-carving hand. This is the one that holds down the plaques when I'm carving. Okay? So you think about it. When you're cutting a small, let's say I'm carving a small circle, okay? You gotta know where your hands are at all times. I've gotten used to that now. I know where my hands are at all times. So that's why I don't, sometimes I might hit a knot and that's why I cut myself. That's, you know, that's par for the course, that is the risks. I didn't know how major a risk the arthritis was. Oh, then my doctor said, well, how many carvings did you do? I said, well, I did about 80 or 90 in about a year. That would be the reason why. But you have to learn the risks of each. Any craft has risks. You know, learn the risks. You know.
I've burned my hand so many times I don't even feel it, really.
Exactly. Once you get used to that form of pain, it's like your brain shuts it off. But you.
Just like, oh, that's a second-degree burn. No, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It'll heal in the morning.
It's a second-degree burn. It's still good. It's still good.
Yeah, the skin's still there. So what should we say? All right. So Zeta's actually going around, passing around raffle tickets now, and we'll be doing the giveaway soon. What do we have to give away? You know?
All right. I gave it to Conops because my hands were killing me yesterday. There's another form of wood carving called chip carving. I carve for this raffle a Wendigo, okay? Because it would have been relief, but how do you carve the wind? How do you give it shape? All right, so it's in a different form. It's called chip carving. And I basically took the pattern of the Wendigo and chip carved it out and then just painted the sky blue, you know, the blue for the sky, and then the cut marks inside of it is the lighter blue. When you look at the actual episode, it's like a dark blue, the dark blue sky with the light blue outline for the Wendigo. That's what it will. That's what it is. Whoever wins it, I was told it was put in Conops. I don't know exactly where it is. So, you know, once we find it, you know, we will find you and we will give it to you.
Well, can I just say that it's been an amazing to be in a panel with these guys? I'm not worthy. It really hasn't hit me until now. I'm like, holy crap! I'm next to Spike Fireman and Space Voyager, and Chaotic Brony was over there too. Holy crap! I don't know. I don't know. I'm just doing my sculptures over here, and just like I'm sitting next to these guys now. Also, thank you all for coming out here. It was amazing. Holy, I don't even. Yes. Huh? Yeah, I do the main 6. I had them all on sale during the BronyCon, but they're all out now, except for maybe AJ. Poor AJ. Yeah, and I do just polymer clay sculptures, just of whatever, really. You can see Spitfire right here on the desk. What? It depends. I mean, I don't really make the same thing twice, so it depends on how much work I put into it, really. Yeah. So do we have any?
Well, might as well, if you got any more quick questions, you know, while they're handing out the raffle tickets.
Yeah.
Me or them? Well, you go.
Yeah, market. How do you market?
What I usually do,
The question was, how do you market your product?
I just usually submit to as many groups as possible on DeviantArt. That's my main, way of getting my work out there. I also have a Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, pretty much anything you can think of. Just submit your work to as many things as possible, and people will notice it.
Also, Equestria Daily.
Oh yes, Equestria Daily. That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, those guys are awesome.
Yeah, they're really nice too.
Yeah, I do about the same. Usually, people post my work on like sites like Reddit and Facebook, though I don't usually do that myself. So those guys are awesome. But other than that, that's how I just do DeviantArt and Tumblr.
I don't do commissions. I do strictly for the charity auctions. So it's just easier to, because I had opened up commissions a while back, and literally there was no one that was interested at the time, because I was charging $200 for my carvings, because half of that is material and the other half is labor. Now think about it, I'm doing 3 days worth of work. Break it down, it's less than $1 an hour. So, I figure, I'd rather give it, make the carvings to help others. Like Seattle was, Everfree Northwest was the Seattle Children's Hospital. And I forgot which charity this is for this one, but if you think about it, we're helping children out. All right. I did a raven and a bubbles. If you go on my DA page, spikefarming.deviantart.com, you'll see a raven and a bubbles carving, and I sent it to Tara Strong. She signed it to give to Ami. He was going to put it on his eBay page to help raise funds for Kiki, but he's going to be putting it up to help others who are in Kiki's situation. So. Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Are we almost ready? Are we done? All right.
Also, Chaotic Brony, he has 3 things he's giving away.
Awesome.
I'm going to give you a sheet of paper, and that'll be your confirmation to take to his table, and he will give you your prize.
And I have 2 sets of prints. I have 2 sets of prints and 2 charms that I brought. One is of Rainbow Dash here, and then the other is of Pinkie Pie. So I get 2 things to give away.
And I'll be representing the charity auction. If I have 1 ticket, if I win, it'll be going directly into the charity auction.
Awesome. So.
Go ahead and pull.
Okay, we can each draw a winner.
Since you have 2, how many things?
I don't
2
have
things.
anything to give away, so it'll be.
Yeah, social don't
Okay,
want.
first ticket.
Okay, the winning number is 418962. That's awesome.
So you can pick Pinkie Pie or Raven. All right, you want Raven?
Actually, I think this is actually pretty appropriate for this.
All right.
That's great.
Okay. All right, drawing number 2.
Number 2. What is this one? 418883. All right. And you get a pink pie. Just take it.
All right, and then this, of course, he will get your information and give it to you later.
Well, it's with the convention staff. I don't know where it is, though, so. Yeah. So I gotta figure out how we're gonna get it, because I don't know what the hell I'm gonna be for this. No, it's here in the convention hall. I just gotta figure out where, though. If somebody from the staff, and we'll just have them meet it there. I think if we can put it in the con-ops and then have them go to the con-ops, then I think that would be the best thing. So, all right. This is for the Wendigo. The winning lottery numbers are, sorry, I couldn't help that, 418946. Okay. Okay.
Come up here.
Because I gave it. What?
Scott, what's your number?
Ooh.
From Canada. I don't know the U.S.
It also really stinks shipping to Canada.
We got a, I gave it to somebody on staff. They said, I think they said they were going to put it in the con ops or we got to track it down and we'll just, most likely they have it put in the con. I'll show you a picture of it.
It's the carving of the Wendigo that he was talking about earlier.
Okay. All right, it's going to be cold. We'll put it in conversation. I don't have a pen. Do you have a pen? Oh, where we get stairs at first? Here you go. Here. Yeah, just.
We actually ended up in Dallas before.
Once we find, once we'll put comps, would be the
This is
solution. We put it in the
I
comps.
don't even know. I mean, like, I've been on that
So we'll
side
put
of
it
the
in the
table.
comps.
But yeah, it has. It's kind of crazy.
We'll give it to the
Would do
comps.
again, yes.
definitely.
10 out of 10.
Just show them your idea. It was on the table. No, you I gave it to you to hear the number.
I don't know. I actually thought that we wouldn't have nearly as many people, just because we're opposite.
We got your
we're
numbers.
doing the masquerade. I was like, oh
Now,
goodness.
3 drawings for things by Chaotic Brony. They're 3 minutes. There's a Celestia. There's probably Luna and the Cadence, but they are minutes.
Okay. We'll pull the 3 numbers and then read them off, so that way it's easier.
Okay. Yeah. Who?
Don't read them yet until the third one.
Big man.
Do you want me to go first?
I hope it's me.
Okay, the winner for Chaotic Brony's pendant is 418861.
Darn.
Now you have a slip of paper to take for Chaotic Brony.
All right. Next one is 418873. Hey, what's up, man? Nice.
And last but not least, 418863.
And I
that
think
it?
that concludes the
Yep.
panel.
And that concludes. Is that it? We're over time already.
Oh, we're 13 minutes over.
10 minutes over.
Yep. All right. You want to close it?
Sure. This concludes the panel. Thank you very much for being here, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Yep.